I'd like to share that the Parkinson's Foundation will be hosting virtual events each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday of the week. To learn more and to register, please visit www.parkinson.org/pdhealth. PD Health at Home is presented by the Light of Day Foundation, whose generosity has made this programming possible. I'd like to thank the Light of Day Foundation for their tremendous support. The Parkinson's Foundation provides families with free resources, including our website, parkinson.org, educational books, webinars, podcasts, a hospitalization kit, and our toll-free helpline, 1-800-4-PD-INFO, which is staffed by Parkinson's specialists. To learn more about our resources and our upcoming virtual events, remember to visit our website at parkinson.org or call our helpline at 1-800-4-PD-INFO. And Jennifer has put that website and our telephone number in the chat box if you guys would like to write it down. For those providing care and support for a loved one living with Parkinson's, self-care is an essential part of your caregiving tools. Join our Parkinson's Foundation helpline specialist for a town hall discussing ways to help you stay well in this critical role by carving out time to focus on you. You can register for this Wellness Wednesday's Care Partner Town Hall by visiting parkinson.org/PDHealth. And of course, don't forget to tune in next week for our exploration into joy for others with Dr. Craig Hazy, Mindfulness Monday, next November 23rd. It's a great way to start the week of Thanksgiving. That's next Monday, Joy for Others. And now I'd just like to take a few moments, if you aren't already and are able to join us on camera and see your mindful Parkinson's community around the nation and around the world. I'm so happy to say that we do have people joining us today from Indonesia and India, and it's just so tremendous that we are able to reach corners of the globe in this mindful Parkinson's community. So say hello, scroll through the video boxes here on our Mindfulness Mondays, and wave hello to your Parkinson's community. It's so good to see each of you. Hello. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into our mindfulness meditation practice. I'm so grateful to be inviting our expert speaker, Dr. Jeffrey Proulx, back this Monday, and he will be leading us through a sound meditation. So Dr. Jeffrey Proulx, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Crista. Good morning and good afternoon, and wherever you are, good day. My name is Dr. Jeff Proulx, and I'm an assistant professor at Brown University at the Center for Mindfulness. And one of the most important aspects of mindfulness that I think about is just being able to let go of daily stressors, to relax into what's happening around us, just that option of just putting down all of the thoughts and the tensions and the emotions that arise in our daily life, and just to settle and allow and feel what it feels like to let our mind just rest. And that's oftentimes and essentially what mindfulness practice is all about, is to bring us into that present moment and to allow us that space for that rest. So what I wanted to do today was to do a little practice that I've found to be very, very helpful and potent, and something that you can do at any time during the day. And that's one thing that I think is nice. It's really a practice you can use at any moment when you choose just to set down the stresses and strains and the worries that you might have, or the concerns, or even the good things, and just to be present in this moment and to simply hear what we hear around us. And I think that sound and listening to sounds and being able to be present with sounds is a really, it's a very good illustration of how the outer world and the inner world are very much connected to each other. As you know, sounds come to us and then it hits certain nerves in our ears, and our brain interprets it in a certain way. And so it's that in that moment kind of connection to the outer and inner world. And what I'm hoping is that you can join me in this brief little practice for about 10 minutes of just listening. And I'll guide you through it if you can. Just get yourself in a position where you feel comfortable. And if you're sitting in a chair, keeping your feet flat on the ground and relaxing in your lower body so that way the muscles in your legs and then your ankles and then your knees are all relaxed. Just letting go of any tension or holding on to anything in your legs. And then noticing your posture in your upper body. Coming to a position where your spine is nice and straight, and not rigid and stiff, but just straight and tall, as though there was string pulling your head at the very top of your head up towards the ceiling. And your chest out, shoulders relaxed, and your shoulder blades just melting down your back. And your neck and your head and and your back are all aligned in one nice straight line. And just feel yourself sitting in this position, relaxed, awake and attentive, and simply just present. And when you're ready, I encourage you to move your attention away from your body and notice the sounds that you're hearing outside of the room you're in. Just hearing. Oftentimes, when we're trying to pay close attention to something, we tense up in our face or our eyeballs, relaxing in your face and in your forehead, and anywhere else where there's tension, and just returning to hearing what you hear outside of the room. Not making up any stories about the sounds that you hear, or noticing if you expect certain sounds or like certain sounds more than others. See if you can notice if sounds are coming from a long distance away or if it's right outside your door. And if you don't hear any sounds, that's fine too. This is our act of just hearing. And now notice the sounds inside the room. And as you quiet your mind, you may come to realize just the multitude of sounds that are swirling around us in every moment. We simply just don't hear because our mind is distracted by thoughts and emotions, things of the future or things of the past or things of all that. And hearing what's outside, and listening for sounds above you and for sounds below you. Your own ears of maybe ringing or the sound of blood pulsing, heartbeat. In each moment, a new sound. Now, occasionally, you'll notice that your mind thinks And thoughts start to rush in now and then, and we just get caught up in our thought stream. And we get distracted from our activity, in this case, hearing. And that's fine. That's what our mind does. But what I encourage you to do is to notice where your mind's been distracted to, if you're distracted. Noting it, and then just letting it go and returning back to hearing. And if you're distracted 1,000 times, that's absolutely fine. In each moment that you recognize the distraction and return back to your activity, that is mindfulness of this moment and where you are in this moment. Hearing. And as you relax deeper into the practice and into hearing itself, seeing if you can notice the spaces between sounds. The emptiness between sounds. The silence that underlies sound. Hearing. And noting that at any time when you find that your mind has gotten too distracted or upset, or moving too fast, at any time you can just stop and listen and hear. In about a minute, we'll return back to normal activity. So, what I encourage you to do in the meantime is to just transition your awareness back to your breath. Maybe you can hear the sound of your breath, watching each breath coming in and watching each breath leaving your body. And then becoming aware of your entire body sitting in this chair, breathing, listening, hearing. From the bottom of your feet to the top of your head, being fully present in this moment. And all sensations on your skin and your breath and sounds, and opening your eyes and seeing the world around you, wiggling your fingers and toes perhaps, and just coming back to present moment. And taking one last deep breath, and we'll return back to Crista.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Proulx. So I just kind of wanted to share with everyone and ask you guys to share with Dr. Proulx and I what kinds of sounds that you found your mind focusing on. And so for me, I have the privilege of watching my sister's dog right now, and she was intermittently barking at who knows what. I could also hear the washing machine spinning around and washing my linens, which is in the washer today. So just let me know what kinds of sounds that you found your mind kind of fixating on as Dr. Proulx was leading us through a sound meditation. Great. So let's see what we have in the chat. A distant train going through town. Beautiful, beautiful. I too also got distracted by the sound of that inner voice, that incessant chatter that continuously happens when we ask ourselves to become aware of what's happening around us. Silence, Natalie writes in silence, great. A fish tank. So Denise, were you hearing like the bubbling of the fish tank? That's lovely. Our air purifier, great. The traffic, and your cat who decided to get off and then on my lap. So sweet. I think it's interesting that, animals, they kind of really get drawn to that awareness that a human might be experiencing in a moment. Computer fan, TV in the next room. Downtown Brooklyn, yes, heard horns, construction sounds, telephones ringing, people yelling, I found it. And I think what's so beautiful about all this variety across the board on what we're all hearing is that the meditation practice changes, and it's different for everyone's experience. And the practice itself is noticing that the thought has stepped out of the awareness into, evaluating and judging what's happening, but being able to bring that judgment and that awareness full circle back to that sound specifically, as what Dr. Proulx was guiding us to do, is listening to the sound. Judy writes in furnace and wind, traffic hammering next door, clocks ticking. Yes, yes, yes. So there's a lot of sound when you really give yourself a moment to listen, and even listen to the spaces in between the sound can really be relaxing. Dryer on the floor above me, clicking on the clock. Yes, traffic outside and insistent chatter. Yes, Mary Lynn, I hear that. I hear that. So I want to thank Dr. Proulx, for giving us that opportunity to really tune into the sounds surrounding us and giving us that chance to connect to the sound with an attention of awareness. And I want to thank each of you for taking the time to listen a little bit more clearly and more focused. And to remind everyone that this is a practice. And so a practice is to be practiced each day. And so this week, taking a moment every day to just sit, maybe close the eyes and breathe and listen and hear what is the possibility that you could not be hearing once before, but is still quite present. And so, Dr. Proulx, if you'd like to add anything before we close today's Mindfulness Monday, I'd like to invite you back on camera if you'd like to make a comment about today's.
I think you covered that nicely, Krista.
Okay.
That was exactly it. And I just want to emphasize that this is something you could do at any time if you're in any situation that you're in, and you just need to kind of get out of the heat or the tension. Just sit down and listen to what's going on around you. And oftentimes ask yourself, did you even know that sound was there before? And my big question is what else am I missing in the world when my mind is all distracted like that? If I didn't hear the birds, or if I didn't hear the car door shut, whatever it might have been that we heard, is like, when we're not hearing that, we're missing it, and it's usually because of what's going on in the drama in our heads. And so sometimes we need that thought process, but sometimes we need to set it down too. And sometimes just being able to just sit and hear what you hear around you is a very potent and immediate exercise to do that.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Proulx. And so I encourage you all to join us each Monday and practice your mindfulness discipline with us each Monday, and carry this practice with you throughout the week. Even, oh yes, I forgot to listen. And then just take those next 5 minutes to really listen this week, whether that's to your body, your heart, your family member. Really take a moment and focus on the sense of listening.
Without judgment.
Without judgment, that's correct. No labeling, just really appreciating that sense of being able to hear. So without further ado, if you're not on camera, would like to join us on camera, I'd like to just take another moment to see everyone and invite you to see your Parkinson's mindful community here joining us on camera. I'd like to thank Denise for continuously joining us, and Robert, Bob, Lucille. I'm not sure if we've met before, but thanks for being here. Yael, David, Linda, Natalie, Eileen, Shane, Barbara, Diane, Pamela, Mary Lynn, William, Jennifer, Cecile, Dr. Proulx, Judy, Linda Creason, Barbara, Jessica, and all of you who are joining us by phone. Thank you so much for being here today. And again, last final message, listen this week. And I'll see you next Mindful Monday. Thank you all.